Hey there, I want to get started on this series. I've had a lot of responses and a lot of questions, and I'm going to try to hit many of them, and I've got a lot of topics I want to hit on. Right here you can see those. And the first one I want to talk about is getting in the game. And if you're interested in having a career doing music for a living, whether that be writing or performing or playing an instrument or whatever, one of the things you want to do probably as soon as you can, and that is to start working in the business in some area. My first job was working at a Sears, but it was at a consigned music store space. It was actually a really nice music store in Indianapolis, consigned some space at the Sears, and I was in there and it was pretty empty most of the time, so all I did was sit around and practice guitar. I got paid to practice guitar. And they also paid me commission, so I made pretty decent money until, of course, inevitably, because it wasn't very crowded, people didn't think of going to Sears to buy a Fender or Gibson. They eventually closed it. So I lost that job. My next job was working at a restaurant, and I realized I do not want to do that. I worked at a Mexican restaurant called Gringo's, and who names a Mexican restaurant Gringo's? I have no idea. But I've done a lot of jobs. You can see those here over the last 35, 40 years, and basically the idea is to kind of get yourself around music. My little sister went to fashion school, went to University of Cincinnati Fashion Design School, and 4-year school, 4-year program, and in between her first and second year, between every summer she had to work a different job. And the first job, between the first and second year, she had to work retail. And I think part of their thinking was, you want to be a fashion designer, you need to know what sells. So you can design whatever you want to do, but if it doesn't sell, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to be able to be a designer. And then the next summer, she worked in a factory doing piecework. And I think part of the thinking there was, if you design something that can't be made, or is very expensive or very difficult to make, it's probably not going to make it to market. And her third year, between her third and fourth year, she went to New York and got to work in an actual studio. What I took away from that was that basically you can learn from any situation you find yourself in the music business. If it's playing in a top 40 band, I think that's insanely valuable for learning what makes a hit, because in top 40 bands you play top 40 songs. When you work at a record store, you can see what's, oh wait a minute, do they have record stores anymore? Look up record stores. I had a job at a record store. I actually only worked 2 hours. It was after I was teaching guitar lessons. I would go to the store and work a couple hours, I think 8 to 10 every night, and the owner of the store paid me in albums. He gave me an album an hour, which was actually pretty good pay at the time, just to hang out, because there was a girl working there. He didn't want her working alone at night. So I hung out, and basically they didn't make me do a whole lot. I put stuff away and priced stuff and sold stuff, whatever, but not a whole lot to do. So I got to just peruse albums, and I became a real voracious reader of credits and got really into that, and I started finding session players I really liked on the most obscure and sometimes the worst albums. I would be looking for Lee Ritenour's name, or Steve Lukather, or Larry Carlton, or Jay Graydon, and I would find their name on something and I'd buy it no matter what it was, and I'd get home and I'm going, oh, this is awful music, but the guitar playing on it was awesome. So anyway, any job you can do that kind of keeps you in the game, okay? The next video I'm going to talk about being where the action is, and that's very important, but a very, very difficult step to make. And of course this, I have had jobs where I wasn't doing music because I just needed a job that paid decent money, but it's allowed me to stay. I've been able to stay in one pretty much field almost for 99% of my jobs, and learning something all along the way. Okay, so keep that in mind. Get in the game. That's the bookend. The bookends of this video. Get in the game. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.